The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTRTV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. A season comes to its conclusion here with just 3 more races to go. Rather than having one event to end it all, which, take your opinion on that, we have 3 races in our championship group, so the best of 10 will have 3 races to get the most points and decide a champion. The first of those 3 events is right here in Sin City, where the casinos are aplenty and luck is what you need here. Rolling the die for a championship at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Welcome everyone to PTRTV for round number 22 here for the Spartan SimRacing League, their championship group, race number 1 of 3. Going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth, along with Andre Grandbush here, who's been with me for basically every one of these races here this season. So we come to the NextGen car, we come to a 1.5 miles, which traditionally puts on some great racing, along with our tire sets, along with our fuel loads, and now let's just go sprinkle in a little championship, Andre. Should be for a good night.
Yeah, being the first race of the final round, I think these guys are going to be racing pretty hard. They want to get points now in case anything does happen in the coming races. And Vegas is a pretty tough track here on iRacing. It's very, I don't want to say easy to drive, but it's simple enough and fast enough that you almost get pseudo pack racing where everybody is very close together. And it kind of promotes a very aggressive style of racing that we're kind of planning on seeing. So that'll be fun. I'm also seeing a lot of sun, so I would assume the track's going to be pretty warm, and that'll be a factor playing into it as well. But it's a fun track, definitely one of the ones that I try to make time. I don't race often, but I try to make time when the official races go here.
Yeah, it was my intention to run an official race. I've been trying to run one official race a week so that I can kind of get some free money at the end of the season, and I still can't will myself to do it. Very busy with here on these broadcasts as of late, but Vegas a very fun track, and a new driver, Andrew Nieder, I believe that is. He's coming through 1 and 2 here through those bumps, and those bumps do kind of facilitate in some multi-groove racing here, because getting through those bumps, especially with these open setups, those guys have to make decisions. How low do I want the nose? Do I want it to scrape for that downforce? Do I want it a little smoother ride with the car up in the air? These are decisions you have to make. Or do I just go run a higher lane? But when you do that, then you worry about tire wear, so different things to consider. But again, on the vein of it being championship week, figured we'd go ahead and go over our point standings. This is with the seeding, bonus points over the course of the season, your playoff points if you want to use that verbiage. Justin Levine is top of the board by 29 over Latham, Ty Ippolito 80 back, and then Johan, who is the one that I'm going to be watching for, he's 89 points back. But we were just talking in pre-race, Andre. We're kind of using a pseudo Winston Cup-esque points picture. So if you win the race and your competition finishes maybe 6th or 7th, that does amount to a fair amount of points.
Yeah, the gap looks a lot bigger than it really is if you're looking at it from a perspective of the point system that real NASCAR uses, but that's not what we're using. And that 89 points is actually pretty close when you consider how many points there are on the table. Last week, I know you mentioned pre-race, Corey. Last week, the guy who finished first didn't even get the most points in the race. So definitely we could see some things change hands. And then you got Timothy Latham, Ty Ippolito. Latham especially not far out of the picture, 29 points. That could be made up in no time at all. So the championship definitely not set in stone. But that name at the top, Justin Levine, he's been so consistent, Corey. I mean, every week, like you said, we've been here every week for every race. And it seems like we always talk about Justin, and it's usually because he's out front. So it's going to be tough to dethrone that #1 car.
Yes, it is, but there are a couple guys, as well as some drivers who are just looking to make their namesake, make a little bit of money, and maybe create a picture for next season, guys who came in late, as well as guys who are fighting for a second half championship, which maybe we'll be able to get into that over the course of the evening. So just many different storylines are aplenty here in SSRL, but it's time for us to go down trackside. Let's go ahead and give you that PTRTV starting lineup here today from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Starting today's race from the front row is going to be one of our title guys, Timothy Latham. They will be denoted in yellow. If you could not figure that out, he will be up there with Philip Henry in second, Dakota Jorgensen in third, Heath Snyder in fourth. We have in the fifth spot Robert Baysaw Jr., I think a new name, as well as Andrew Neidert here. Neidert, one of the two. Ty Ippolito in seventh, Kendall Leveron in eighth, and then rounding out our top 10 is Dave Fuge and Blair Holloman.
P11 goes to Josh Campbell in that 8 car. He's right alongside Corey Harville in the 92. 13th, Kevin Zosiak, and 14th going to be that driver I was just talking about, Justin Levine, recharging from a little bit further back. 15th goes to Jake Hickson. 16th is going to go Chad Gunningsman. P17 belongs to Kyle Gerlosh and Devin Medeiros. He's been back the last couple weeks. He's going to be starting 18th. Rounding out the top 20, Johan Seminario and Jordan Sailors. And shotgun on the field, final driver, not going to forget him, Corey Saucier in the 90. He actually had a pretty good run a couple weeks ago, if I recall. So we'll see what kind of momentum he has here. But we are rolling.
I think it was actually at 1.5 miles, ironically enough, as well. So maybe it was Atlanta, which is a little bit more super speedway-y for such a word. But our weather conditions here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, 66. There's no way that's real. 66 in here, 74 track, and it is just nearly 3:30 sim time, so we will not have any lights turning on here, barring a solar eclipse, I do suppose. And our race details here, lap 50 will be our stage. We have 3 sets, so I guess the contract with Goodyear getting us that 4th set wasn't applicable this week. So 3 sets in the pits, no fast repairs, and our incident system with our green-white checkers. So I think one of these races, Andre, with the tire game, I think is going to come back into play.
Oh, it definitely will. The 3-tire limit is going to be pretty strict as usual. And, of course, reduced fuel capacity as always. but we are rolling through 3 and 4. Pace car is about to turn down into pit road, hopefully where he will stay for a while. I know the beginning of these Las Vegas races can get pretty chaotic, but Marnie is going to be watching all the action from the flag stand there. He's got the green in his hand, and we are underway here at Las Vegas. The final round for the SSRL is finally beginning. And Timothy Latham, looking to make up some points this week, is doing the job well, getting the pole and now getting out to a solo lead. A 4-car length jump, now 5. By the time they get halfway through the corner, they are contested for second. Philip Henry, Dakota Jorgensen trying to battle it out for that set step on the podium. Third place not far behind. They are all in a bunch. It's a hornet's nest going down into 3. It looks like we're going to get our first lap in clean and green.
And some near 3-wide action going on there. The Chase Elliott-esque livery there of Dakota Jorgensen. He's going to have Andrew Niedert in the 36 to his outside. And then Heath Snyder. So again, some names that you don't traditionally see up front here. Heath Snyder, maybe a top 10 car most of the time, but he's going to the outside of Philip Henry. Philip Henry, one of the faster drivers here in the second half of the season. Heath Snyder is going to go right there, and then he's going to pull right behind Timothy Latham in the 5-car. Pink cars for Breast Cancer Awareness Month here, but one of the things here at Vegas, a very abrasive track, especially when you run that upper groove, and especially when you go full send early in the run. So interesting to see if they're going to be able to sustain that, as we have some really tight nose racing here through the center of 1 and 2.
Yeah, they have not gotten single file yet throughout the majority of the field. A little bit of a scrape to the wall there, I believe, for Andrew Nieder in the 36 car. Got that rear end kind of swung out on him. It looked a little bit loose, and he got the right rear quarter panel to tag the wall, but luckily he's going to be A-OK. Continuing on side by side with 25, Philip Henry. Ty Ippolito giving a heck of a shove to the travel. Don't see that often at Las Vegas, but it's going to push him down into the corner to a good advantage. But for the lead, look at this. Timothy Latham, Heath Snyder, 0.02 of a second. It's going to be side by side. The 2 black and pink cars going to drive down into the corner, and I think Heath Snyder may be able to take it from Latham here. He's got the preferred line. The bottom is quick on fresh tires. And no, not quite going to get clear. They're going to stay side by side. In fact, the work for the tribal cut there, Latham may have got the advantage back at the line. He did not, though. Now down into the corner, they're going to go side by side again. And the thing here, Corey, is that bottom, it is fast now, but it will deteriorate. If they stay out long enough, top is going to be where you want to be. It's a little bit less bumpy and a little bit wider turn radius. So
that kind of reminds me of Bubba at Texas there, kind of doing that little bit of a block, trying to force him down to the inside. Of course, Bubba didn't work out for him there, but Snyder able to retain the lead. Lap number 5 here. That was a Hyperforce car in the form of Snyder passing a Flashpoint car in the form of Timothy Latham here. But again, I am going to be very concerned about those tires there on Snyder. I think he's probably going to drop like a rock around lap number 20. But what we have to bring into play, which I've completely omitted, Andre, the fuel load here. Let's estimate. I saw some smoke back there. I think that was Dakota Jorgensen touching the wall. But we're going to use the old guesstimator here. So I'm going to say the fuel load probably around lap number 30 or so. So maybe, just maybe, pushing it hard will survive to lap 30 as Timothy Latham not rolling over.
Yeah, Timothy Latham holding on to second place. Ty Ippolito has gained quite a few positions from where he started. He's looking to try to cross off another one from the list, but for right now, Latham sticking strong, but they have just not gotten away from each other. Look at that, by the way. The number 1 started 14th. He's up to 7th, so it's going to be up 7 where he started. And man, oh man, good run so far. But on board now with Robert Esau in the 26 machine. You can see just how hectic it is from the driver's perspective. Cars everywhere and a little bit loose for the 25 in front of him. That's always a scary sight when you're watching the guy and you see him bobble. But man, the crazy scenes from that number 1, Justin Levine. He just dropped about 5 lanes and somehow made it work with the shallow entry. He's going to get around that 25.
By inches nearly. He's going to shut the door.
I can't believe how many cars he has passed in such a short time. But that is going to put him up to P5. So he started 14th, took them all in 9 laps to get inside the top 5.
Yep, just that. And you can see a lot of yellow on the top of the pylon here as we have Ty Ippolito against some guys who we don't expect or we don't see kind of battling for the lead as much, but obviously putting a lot more work into these championship group tracks. We have 2 of these 1.5 mile moderate bank tracks, and we'll head to the rectangle at Indy in between. So if you have a good run here, as here comes Timothy Latham, if you have a good run here, you have a very good chance to seal the deal at Homestead. But using that outer lane, as the tires do wear, you put that extra wheel in on the bottom, that middle and upper groove will come in, but Latham really going to take that shallow entry, dives to the inside. He's struggling to move, keep it down. He's struggling to keep it down. He door taps him there through 3 and 4. All is well. What's Ippolito do? Ippolito is going to give a shove to the 5, and now you have Andrew Nieder there in the 36 going to the top with the 29.
It's always a risk when you take that shallow entry. Sometimes the car is going to get tight on you, and that's exactly what happened to Latham. So he's got to be careful. We're 11 laps into the run. The bottom is not going to be as fast as it was, and that was my concern when I seen these guys go side by side. Heath Snyder had already migrated to the middle groove and sometimes even the top, and I kind of figured that was for a reason, but now the roles reversing actually is Latham who's the top for 3 and 4, but it doesn't really gain him a whole lot. In fact, he actually is going to lose a little bit of time here. Andrew Nieder in the 36 is going to be trying to make a move down low. He may get it complete if he can hold
he's
that
gonna
throttle.
wash
Not
up.
quite. He's tight and then loose out of the corner. That's the other thing too, Corey. You get tight coming out of the corner, then you give it that panic lift. All the weight of the car shifts to the front, and you get a little bit sideways on that straightaway. It's not a fun situation, so you got to be careful of that. Meanwhile, Justin Levine now throwing his hat into the ring for 3rd place. Currently running 4th, but he is side by side with that 36, and it's looking like with a bunch of momentum into the corner, he may be able to take it. So he's going to get clear into 3rd, slot down the track right into 3rd, and now maybe up into 2nd. It's going to be a 2-for-1 special at the backstretch. The blackjack table is paying out pretty well here at Las Vegas. He is getting up to P2. I can't believe the setup he must have on that thing. I mean, we can kind of see the tire wear on Heath Snyder's car, the way that he's had to migrate up the track just from how hard he was driving early on. Justin Levine's driving even harder. He's passed more cars, and it seems like his car is still holding that bottom really well.
Yes, indeed it is. And some other points of note here. Right off turn number 2, Andre. This is going to be a tough spot. It only takes 15 laps into the race for me to start roasting iRacing. As we do have issues. Oh, big issues. That is Gunnigsbin and Saucier there. They have met in the middle, and they will continue to contest that position there. And we will go to the replay, and I will then have my roast of iRacing a little bit later on. But let's go check out the replay here and try to sort things out here. 97 to the top, 3 wide with Jorgensen and Holleben there. And 2 guys in the same lane. And unfortunately for Saucier, there was a couple other drivers there. That was Gerlash, and I think that may have been the 92 of Harville. I'll get one more look at that. Just to kind of see precisely what happened here. Now I already forgot who was at 97 there. This is my memory. I'm watching a wreck and I already forgot who was in it. Yeah, he was up against the fence. Not much he could do. I think Jorgensen may have just been trying to side draft a little bit too aggressively there and just eventually ran out of real estate there. But here we come under pit road. Little early for tires, Andre. I'm going to guesstimate some fuel only here.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see very many jack stands go up. I think it's going to be mostly just a fuel top off throughout the field. Levine into his pit stall, just waiting on Heath Snyder. There goes Ty Ippolito, number 5 Latham. And do we see any jack stands? No, we do not. It is just fuel.
Nieder had to back it up there. The 36, he overshot his box. And Snyder will get off pit lane first.
Yeah, that was a drag race. So Justin Levine almost getting him there. So that's up to 2nd now for the number 1 car. But that was a good battle off pit road, that one team.
Now, this is where I have to roast iRacing, and I'm very partial to this because it actually cost me a league championship in 2016. See how that safer barrier tapers down? You are exiting the corner here, and you exit it naturally, and you kind of want to get right up there, and if you get too close, you will meet where that safer barrier tapers, and you will hit the wall very hard. And a lot of these guys, especially later in the run when the tires start to go and you run onto that, that agility in the car, you will find some difficulty there. Not as bad in turn 4, but turn 2, that safer barrier is not your best friend.
No, it is not. You try to align yourself with the wall, but there's a bit of a concave there, so it's an awkward angle, and you catch it at the wrong angle, it's going to do some damage, that's for sure. And there's a few track scans on iRacing a little bit wonky like that.
Well, while we're in vein of it, there is a very super duper 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 outdated logo on the back straightaway. If I can get it in shot, I don't know if I ever told you on it, but if I can get it in shot, we will. But just kind of, this is one of the tracks that has never, other than lights and a couple, you know, updated NASCAR logos, this track has not been touched in any capacity since 2008. So good times there, but we are on 1 to go. Now fuel has been reset, so let's take our little 32 lap guesstimate and we'll stretch that out, say maybe 47. So we're going to be running really close here to make this on the stage.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we see a little bit of fuel saving throughout the
right
fuel.
Here. So this right here, that says "Thanks Dale" with a UPS logo. That is denouncing Dale Jarrett's retirement.
Oh no!
That's how old this track is.
So he retired in
2008. His last race was the 2008 Food City 500. So he obviously, this was one of his races. He ran that year in the Michael Waltrip COT.
Yeah, I remember he was with MWR there right at the very end, and he was one of those guys that, man, once he quit, he quit. You don't hear anything driving perspective.
He's just dropping tacos on cars here, but the pace car is in, and Snyder's the control vehicle. He's going to get on that loud pedal. Looks like Ty Ippolito is going to give him a little bit of a push there, and let's see if Snyder, he's going to go to the top and try to shut the door on Levine, but now the momentum is going to be building on up, and let's see if Levine can use any of it. No, he will not, because you're flat out here on 1 and 2 on the outlap. So you're going to want to run on that bottom, but now you're wound up. Now you're up to speed, so now the lines are all at play.
Yeah, they are indeed. The tires cooling off a little bit, having that cycle through them as well. Not helping Ty Ippolito, forcing the issue. There is not a lane down there, but he's trying to make a lane right on the bumper, and all of that blocking out of the 29, stalling the momentum. That's actually going to help Justin Levine take the advantage, at least into the corner. Now through the setter, the 29 is going to take it back, but it's going to be a big run here from the top. I think that may be enough to get him into turn 3. We'll have to see how it plays out. He's also got a little bit of draft help, whereas the bottom lane there with 29, nobody really down there to help. So through 3 and 4, Ty Ippolito now going to jump ship. He goes from the bottom up to the top. And at the line, it is going to be Justin Levine. He's gone from 14th to 1st, and he's got a little bit of help.
So we lost Captain Bump Draft about halfway through the season. I think Ty Ippolito is trying to fill in the gap here, because he has been doing some very aggressive drafting here at an intermediate track, and now he's going to put his hat in the ring for the race lead, but Latham kind of giving a push to the 1. Which is not necessarily what he wants to do, being competing teams there, but now they're going to be side by side still. Latham going to use the top of the track, try to probably get some momentum, maybe make an optimistic 3 wide. The momentum was not there, but he'll still work the top of the track with Levine entering turn 1.
All right, so whatever I said about expecting to see some saving, yeah, I don't think so. These guys are just going all out, so they're either going to have to pit for a splash of gas, or maybe they're more confident than you and I thought initially, but either way, they are clearly not holding anything back. They're racing each other as hard as they can, side by side, making moves. And it seems like a little bit strange to say, Corey, because it's kind of the opposite of how it usually is in NASCAR with these next-gen vehicles. But it seems like once you take the lead, it's tough to maintain it. As soon as you get out front, somebody behind is just going to get ahead of steam. And here comes Timothy Latham taking it back from the number 1. And it's tough. You know, it seems like the front is not the place to be.
Yeah, there's so much draft here of these next-gen cars, at least from an iRacing perspective. But when you head to a track here like Las Vegas, where the track is basically all for grabs, you can go anywhere. You know, you don't have that aero push problem. Oh, you go here, I'm just going to go here. In 26 of Robert Bassett, he was all the way down there on the flat, and turn 1, couldn't go 3 wide, gets right to the back deck lid of Ty Ippolito. But I remember, Andre, back in 2019 or so, when they first introduced the 550 package, here on iRacing, this literally was a super speedway for a build-a-2. You were 3x3 This was Atlanta before Atlanta was the cool thing, so you're still seeing some shades of that here. It's some 3 wide. Ippolito got loose all the way to the bottom. He's dropping back 3 wide. That's Johan trying to work his way through 3 wide. 26 to the top. That is Robert Bassau. As they're still 3 wide. Johan, he started in the back. He missed qualifying here, I think, with some scheduling problems there. Got in last second, trying to get himself through the field. Oh, no! And he's going to get himself in the middle of a mess there with Jorgensen there. That is Neidhart into the wall. Johan did get a little bit of damage from that. He was right in the middle. Hopefully, for his sake, not too bad, but that will cause the yellow. So let's go ahead and check this out on the replay here. So again, the aggressive racing at Las Vegas. It's fun to watch, but definitely very dangerous behind the wheel at certain instances, especially for one of our championship drivers here. Let's see what happens here. 26 and the 9 kind of hooked there on the straightaway, and Johan just, I mean, if he did anything right, I guess he damaged both front fenders for maybe some equilibrium there, but let's go on board with him. Let's see here exactly what happened. That's just a flat hook on the straightaway, and he tried to squeeze the gap there. You can see the crumples up on both the left and the right side. So again, he damaged each side equally, so I guess theoretically he should be fine.
Yeah, it balances out to not a good night so far for that number 9. There's been 2 cautions, and he's been in both of them. But good news for the field. This removes all doubt. Come down pit road, get a splash, you're good to go.
And still no jack stands from what is visible here. So, again, fuel only. So you think about it, we have 1 stand. Oh, I do see some jack stands going up. 26 car, but I think he had some damage as well. Kyle Gerlash has remained on circuit here with Dave Fuge and Blair Holloman. So they will be the front 3 here at the moment. Of course, Fuge, one of the 3 in the title hunt. Not having the best. He was actually pretty good in practice, but is that actually some rare damage to the front to his... Oh, no, it must have just been how it rendered, but he was quick in practice, but not able to back it up here, at least early in the race, but he could just be kind of playing it safe, which is not a bad call given what we've seen.
No, not at all. But I'll be honest with you, Corey, I'm a little surprised. You know, if I'm Timothy Latham, and I know there's some stage points maybe on the line, and I'm that close to leading the championship, I don't think tires would have been a bad call right there. Get the stage win, get the stage points, and then, you know, if something happens later on down the line in the race, they kind of nullify it.
So the exact situation that kind of ruined Truex's race yesterday was a very similar situation to this. Do you save the set of tires and... Do you save the set of tires? So I guess it's kind of the inverse situation. In this case, he took the tires, should he not have, but yeah, it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, you never know till you get down to the end of it. It is pretty early on, and you know, we've had a lot of races where having that spare set of tires is what won somebody the event, so I can see where he definitely maybe is playing it a little bit conservative, but man, a point's so important in this race more so than any of the other groups so far this year. I'm just surprised. I thought the strategy would have been a little bit more split.
So if we just do our math here, of course, which is our favorite thing in the world to do. So we'll take a stage caution at lap 50, so that'll be an automatic tire change for everybody. Pure math says that, you know, within 30 or so laps, you will need another one. So let's even stretch it to 85. Let's say I'm really bad at the fuel mileage. So 85 plus another 35. Oh, that's a tough one. 120? No matter what it is, it's less than 135. So you basically have 3 required pit stops to finish this thing out. So I guess, really, you don't have a strategy set in this race.
No, not unless the cautions fall incredibly well-timed. Other than that, yeah, you really don't have a set to play with. You're going to have to really save those tires till the end. Otherwise, you're going to be way behind the ball. But, you know, luckily, here in iRacing, there's a limit on the tire pressure, a hard limit. and it seems like that's going to save these guys from having to worry about tires blowing out. I know in real life at Las Vegas, in practice and qualifying and even in the race, some of them teams pushed those tire pressures a little bit far. They had really low tire pressure, and it caused a lot of issues. So fortunately not going to see the same thing in Sim.
Yeah, and in the iRacing world, when we blow a tire, we just get told to come to the pits via an Uppbeat by a meatball flag, because it isn't actually there was a crazy glitch that when a tire blew, it actually made the car faster. So the way to fix that was to just make it give you a meatball flag so that you couldn't game the game. But yeah, these SSRL broadcasts, more than any broadcast we do, turn into iRacing roasts. I don't know why. Luckily, there's no member of staff or anyone that I know of that's associated with this league. If there is, sorry, but it's all good. It's all for love of the sim at the end of the day. But Dave Fuge, let's see what he's going to be able to do. It's going to be 21 laps to the stage. So with those tires, it'd be interesting to see what the fall off is. I didn't really focus on that with the lap time, so I guess now we'll get our indicative of what 10 laps has to do on the watch. But green flag in the air, he's going to get a good jump over Holloman. 1 and the 5 will be side by side, and look at the 29. He was caught sleeping there.
Yeah, he lost a lot of time there. I don't know if that was just missed time or if the car in front of him perhaps didn't go. But solo lead for Dave Fuge. They're going to go side by side behind him. Blair Holloman, Timothy Latham battling for position. Justin Levine not far behind. And back behind Levine, you got Ippolito, Josh Campbell, Heath Snyder. And this may be a 3-wide situation brewing. Yes, it is. It'll be 3 wide out of the corner, almost 4. And this is what I'm saying. Las Vegas, you get some pack-style racing, and it can be extremely stressful behind the wheel.
Yes, indeed it can. You have Heath Snyder, who shot out of a cannon on that initial start of the race, trying to take advantage of that short run speed. But Blair Holloman, he's trying to get himself a lap lead, not in the title 10, but he's just trying to make his presence known. And I thought he was going to take a stab at Fuge there, but Fuge hanging on. I thought he was literally going to be a lead balloon, but no, he's hanging on. Let's take a look at the lap times here. Justin Levine, he didn't really have any issues on that lap, so his lap should be pretty indicative. And Dave Fuge actually a tick faster there. I mean, the clean air definitely had a hat to play in that, but a couple guys hitting the wall there off of corner number 2 here, and we do have somebody off in the distance that's Saucier, who will go a 5th lap down.
Yeah, Corey just trying to do everything he can to salvage his race here. Obviously, not going to be the car that wins the race, but if there's any attrition, staying out on track is going to be very valuable for him. But old Spartan Dave going to make the move here, get around him, clear that lap traffic. He's going to leave Blair Holloman now to have to deal with that. He's not going to get around him quite so easily. Into the corner here, this should be good. Oh my goodness, there was a plume of smoke out of Saucier's car, and on the screen it didn't look like he was in the wall. I thought maybe he blew an engine, but maybe that was just some net code. He got into the wall and lost some speed, but 3 wide now. A lap car on the outside, 2 cars down beneath. That's never a fun situation, but nonetheless, these guys handling it really well, and Corey doing what he needs to do. He's just right at the top, letting these guys go. Not in an enviable position, but handling it with grace. Dave Fuge still leading the way, though. Blair Holloman 1/10 of a second back, and Levine, who, I think we expected to get up there a little bit quicker than he has. Obviously, equal tires for Justin Levine and all these guys, because really nobody up front took tires. But still, Dave's doing a great job holding these guys up, and if they battle side by side like this, it's going to help them out even more.
Well, that side by side for second didn't last very long. Holloman really struggled to keep it down on the flat. Levine had the head of steam, and he's going to take that head of steam and try to make amends with that race lead, trying to get by Fuge. Kind of got right in the dirty air through 3 and 4 there, and I kind of saw that car visibly get tight, which was pretty interesting to see. But there goes Latham all the way down on the flat, trying to get around Blair Holloman, getting to the left rear, and struggling with the bottom of the racetrack rather, and Heath Snyder going to take full advantage of that. Blair Holloman got a decent run, will clear and remain in the 3rd spot for the time being, but you have Ippolito trying to work through, and Blair Holloman working the fence line now, but Levine still hasn't been able to do anything with Fuge, so this is kind of interesting news for these guys. At 10 laps on tires, is a plausible strategy. I talked about Dave being fast in practice, started not so much in that position he would have idealed in the 9th spot. But even though he started in 9th, he was fast in practice and having some clean air on the nose. That car is something here today. But I think inevitably here comes Levine to try to steal the show from him.
Well, he's going to try, but it's going to be hard to get around him. The tires are worn for everybody, which makes passing a little bit more difficult. I think Levine obviously a little bit quicker, but being quicker is not the full story. You got to do several things to make a pass, and a bit of a push down into the corner there. And actually, look at Blair Holloman with this end on the outside. He's trying to get back side by side with Justin if he can. Going to get a good run out of the corner.
Yeah, where did this come from?
I don't know, but that was a good shot.
Blair got flair here. He ain't playing here in that number 10 car. But look at Levine. He drove into 3, and with those fresh tires, he was able to actually sustain the exit. But look at the momentum from Holloman here. He's not rolling over and playing dead. Now we have a very interesting trio of cars here. If the 10 can maintain that top, he's got something to play with. But Dave left the top open, and here's going to be the dagger because you're not going to hold off the top of the racetrack. So Levine should, barring any mistakes here in 3 and 4, they all run the fence, the Gantt line up there. Levine should eventually clear this, but Dave again fighting pretty strong on that inside lane.
Yeah, he is doing a great job fighting for position here and not quite letting Justin make the move as easily as he would like. If he keeps holding him up, I mean, you might see that number 10 of Holloman make another swing at it, but unfortunately for Dave, that might be it. Looks like the number 1 gets cleared, but oh my goodness, the number 10 drove it in about 10 mile an hour faster than anybody else and gained a lot of time, but then had to give it a bit of a panic lift there. Blair is not playing. Highest running non-playoff driver, and he is just going full send, showing a lot of pace in that number 10 machine. Doing a great job up here. Heath Snyder, though, going to try to sneak by on the bottom. And Blair says, not so quick, buddy. He gets back around him right on the bumper of Dave Fuge. If he can keep running this high line and getting that momentum, not only is that saving
Hey, is Dave coming back? Dave's coming back.
Yes, he is. He's right to the bumper.
He wants the world to know that he's... Actually, I don't know the next line, but either way, tires are... We thought they were going to be cheese graters. Well, they're temporary cheese graters, and the cheese hardens again, and I guess they find a second life here, so very good stuff. Oh, somebody, 2-3 cars. Yeah.
I think that was, I'm following this guy, and he hit the wall, and somebody's following me, so we both hit the wall.
And worth noting as well, Philip Henry, who is up there, he's back to 10th, and I think he may or may not have been in that wall game, but Johan, again, that damage clearly to his detriment here. He's going to really look forward to that yellow. I'm sure he has some more optional repairs that can maybe get a little bit of speed back in that number 56. Remember, he struggled significantly at Chicago. Said he made a setup option the wrong way. He wasn't going to make that mistake again. Very similar track to Chicago, and again, Homestead, a very similar track to here, which is similar to Chicago. So hopefully these flat mile and a halves, work a little bit better for Johan if he wants to have some title hopes here. But Holloman working that top of the track, Fuge starting to work the middle higher lanes, and that safer barrier, talked about it. It's starting to win the battles here over these guys.
So lap 40. I would say Corey's about the point where that barrier becomes an enemy, because I've seen 2 or 3 cars every lap since lap 40 hit that thing, just where that concave is. It's so easy to do. You talked about it, and you're following the wall, you feel like you got the right arc, and then wall just kind of juts out right there, and not really much you can do about it. But looks like Levine finally going to get some breathing room. Let's see, does anybody get in the wall this time?
Nope.
I think we got through clear, so that's the first time in a few laps.
It's because I did. It's because I did that. So.
Exactly. It's like when you buy a snowblower and then you get the most mild winter you've had in your entire life.
Yes. Well, oh my goodness, almost 4 abreast here. That's Latham looking to the top of Hicks. Where did he come from? Jake Hickson. Again, Timothy Latham. He was the pole sitter. He led. He had the kind of the race sort of in his control, but now you got some wild cards in here. You have Snyder, a championship guy. You got Leveron in the fence. He's also in the championship. But Latham not able to get through this traffic, not able to get through this crazy wild pack. And making some door tapping there. That is Snyder and Hickson.
That was interesting. I mean, I don't really think these guys have any history, but there was a whole lot of track to work with there. I can't help but feel like maybe that was a little bit of a nudge on purpose. Obviously not trying to wreck him, but I don't know if something happened earlier in the race between these two. But either way, the 16 now going to concede that position. Maybe, no, he's not. He's driving around deep. He is holding that bottom. He may keep it on the quarter panel of Snyder. Looks like he may. Number 5 as well. Oh my goodness, Snyder with a late block. That was a little bit heart attack inducing, but he's able to pull that off just all right.
Holloman, he ran out of top talent. Unfortunately, I think he used up that car, and I think he kissed the safer barrier for good luck there off of turn number 4. So he will be most certainly looking forward to that stage caution here as we remain. Oh my goodness, look at him. We're going to have to go on board. He is literally running Reddick close to the fence here.
Yeah, and it may not be on purpose here. He might have a little bit of damage from when he was riding that wall and losing some momentum. But up on board, you can see just how close it is for a lot of these guys. Going to get run on the number 8. And let's watch through 3 and 4 how close he keeps it.
Of course. Of course. Do you have a soundboard? Wah, like we just...
I'm telling you, Corey, that's just how life works. If you buy a pressure washer for your car, it's going to rain for the next 3 weeks. You know, it's just...
I bought a battery reserve. You know, power goes out. I can plug 10,000 things into it, and it'll last for 12 hours. Power didn't go out once this winter, so...
Exactly. See, I'm telling you.
Ty Ippolito in that number 19. Oh, you could see right there that dirty air. You saw Ippolito closing in. Once he got to the center of the corner, that arrow push and the tires just said, nope, can't do it. And then he had to let off and cost himself that time. But look at the gap they have built up over Dave. And this is the white flag for the stage. Completely lost track of that. So let's see if Ippolito has anything left. Try to get himself a stage here. He's going to go to the top, which is typically favorable, but I just think those tires are a little bit too wore out to keep the grip in. He's going to kiss the fence, but Larson did that. He won the race, so Ippolito, it's not over for him, but Levine, our championship leader, he's going to add to that with a stage.
Starting 14th, driving up through the field and getting a stage win. That's not a bad start to the final round of the championship for Mr. Levine, and Ty Ippolito also showing a ton of speed. I mean, if you gave him another lap, it's almost a Christopher Bell situation. Maybe he had one more lap. Oh my goodness, here comes a pace car. Give him the fast lap of the race award. He's shooting through cars there, but yeah, Ippolito looking good. Timothy Latham was looking pretty solid there, and this is gonna be a hard race to call. A lot of good contenders up here. But the important note here is that everybody's finally going to be able to come down pit road, get fresh tires, and that is something they have been waiting for a long time, some of these guys, because I'll tell you, this track gets so tight. We've seen cars smacking the wall, getting up in that outside safer barrier, and it's not fun to drive a tight car. Having to let off so early and crank the wheel so much, it's so frustrating. Now, that'll be alleviated, at least for a few laps, but... and they're now only going to have 2 more sets after this to try to get to 135. Jack stands go up. I would not expect to see anybody forego the tires. You can see the 19, the 28, the 29. Everybody. Here comes Dave Fuge down pit road as well. He's going to...
what happened to him? Why is he so late to pit road? Wasn't he right up there?
Yeah, he should have been 3rd or 4th in line. I don't know what the story there was.
All right, so we still have Kyle Gerlash. I'm not sure if he's going for just going for some TV time here. So I guess if that's the case, we'll give it to you. The Relay Liberty University Camaro. I don't know what Relay is, but perhaps they make Ferris wheels.
I don't know, but I think that was the Byron sponsor.
Oh yeah, it kind of has that on the door. But I mean, I still don't know what Relay is, but that looks like a Ferris wheel. So I'm gonna. Relay payments. So they charge you to use Ferris wheels. That is the clear and only possible product that company offers.
indisputable line of thinking. Let's pull in Justin Levine real quick, have a word with our stage winner now that they have come down pit road. And he's not going to come down again, is he?
He is.
Oh, my goodness. What is going on here? I was going to pull him in, but now we're not going to do that. We don't want to interrupt anybody on pit road. We've done that a time or two, but this is an interesting
call. Does he have some cunning mathematics that say that he needs every last ounce to make the end of this race?
He's not the only one. Look at Blair Holloman and a few others behind that. Okay, so something's going on that you and I are...
Well, whatever is gonna happen, if we ask, they're gonna lie to us. We've already found that out the hard way. So, Leveron.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what? This is a rather long stop. So, is he having to? Did he have some Taco Bell and he has some emergency porta potty usage? I mean, there's no damage.
No.
I'm inclined to think that he has like some emergency situation, whether it is human related or something going on in the house he has to attend to. Leader is coming through 3 and 4 here.
So Robert Besaw Jr. going to inherit the lead through that non-playoff driver leading the race.
Well, 10 seconds, so one would incline to believe that that would have been a 2-tire stop.
Now that is interesting. I mean, maybe just trying to negate the rather strict tire limit, trying to maybe take 2.
Levine is rolling here. Let's. If this is 1 to go, obviously we can't pull him. But if it is 2 to go, then why the hell not? Let's see. 1 to go. So it'll forever remain a mystery.
Top 10 iRacing mysteries unsolved, gone wrong. But we're going to get them doubled up, and it will be Robert on those 2 tires, presumed 2 tires. And, you know, maybe that's how they're going to leave themselves a little bit of wiggle room for a late race restart. Maybe try to, you know, run a stint on just 2 tires and hope that, you know, you can at least stay on the lead lap. And if that's the case, then all the power to them. But I do know that on iRacing, sometimes taking 2 tires, that difference in grip makes the car so unbearably loose, which... Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, with how tight this track has been for these guys, maybe that's not so much of a bad thing. We'll see. But Latham's going to be on the outside there. Then Ty Ippolito, who came so close to that stage win, is going to be on row 2 with Heath Snyder, who
Thanks,
he had
Dale.
a lot of... Thanks, Dale. He had a lot of trouble. Heath Snyder had a kind of a bad jump on the restart. Then he got kind of marred in traffic, but we know it's a fast car, and he's finally backed up a little bit closer to the front, so we'll see how he handles this restart. Right on the bumper of the 5. But the pace car coming down pit road, the final stage, second and final stage of the race, going to be underway as we get a little bit closer to the halfway mark here at Las Vegas, as the still living ghost of Dale Jarrett looks down upon us. Thanks, Dale. Green flag in the air through the Geico restart zone. It's a smooth start for everybody. No stack up here, and it looks like Heath Snyder getting a substantially better start than he did prior. Single filing out now for the lead. 2 tires. Robert Besaw going to hold off Timothy Latham, at least for the time being. Latham should have a good charge out of the corner. Question is, can he take it up high? He's going to squeeze the car, maybe. Not quite down low, looks like.
Yeah, down to the bottom of the track. That inside entry has played havoc for these guys, predominantly in turn 3, where it is a sharper corner entry, of course, coming off a straightaway rather than a dogleg here. So it'll be harder for Latham to do, but he's gonna have a good shot at it here with Ippolito giving him a little bit of a push. Here comes the back of the top lane here, the 29 of Heath Snyder. I thought he was going to work with the 26, at least in some capacity. Seems as though he will. Philip Henry has himself back in the top 5 after not really being there in that second stint. We'll see what that 25 can do. And then you have the 8 of Josh Campbell, Devin Medeiros, Jake Hickson. So a good shake-up here. Johan, he is back there in 9th. He had a couple pit stops there on that sequence trying to fix that damage. We'll see how well it was repaired.
Yeah, I think luckily, because it was the sides of the front of his car, the engine damage shouldn't really be a thing. It was mostly just aerodynamic, and that can usually be fixed in the sim. It just takes a while, and I think now you can tell by the pace he has, it seems to be on bar, and the revs look good as well.
We'll look at a top speed here in relation to everybody else. So he's about 190, 192, 193, 195. And now let's go, next lap by, we'll take a look at Latham and see where he is in relation to that. Oh, look at them, absolutely is on top of each other. Heath Snyder, remember, he led a fair amount of laps in the opening stint. He wants it back. Now he's going to go to the inside of Ippolito, and that'll be off of turn number 4. There you go.
Push the dock button died there.
Seminario
yeah.
actually faster than Latham, probably with the draft there, but I would estimate that number 56 is all set now.
Yeah, I think he's good to go. He's made quite a few passes, but that last lap, the reason they were so stacked up, Timothy Latham got into the outside wall with Ippolito right behind him, and actually just in the corner of the frame. Oh boy, that was a close call. Again, the 29 and the 8, actually it was the 16 before that had issues, but I don't know, the 29 seems to have some issues with that team, the 8 and the 16 being teammates, I believe, but the 29 now going to have a lot of pressure. The 16 gets a good run down on the bottom. Might be able to use a little bit of slipstream here. Got a mirror full of Dynamic.
Yeah, Dynamic Autosport that do run different manufacturers, mind you. You can see the Ford to the inside, the Chevy just behind, battling with Levron there. Again, Levron, another one of our championship contenders, of course, denoted in yellow on your ticker right there. But Latham, who fell back, it seems like, as he really shuts the door on Ippolito there, Latham is seeming to kind of be like a mid-2000s Jeff Gordon, where once he leads the race, he's fine, but if he gets back in traffic, he just basically turns into a brick with wheels. So for him, you got to keep that thing in front. In Seminario, he has a sniff of where he wants to be in up front, and he is going for putting that car in some tight spots.
Yeah, he is not afraid to squeeze into some uncomfortable places, but looks like it's going to get him the lead. Philip Henry out to the front. That's going to put Latham in a battle for second.
How did he gain so much? I'm assuming Latham's maybe trying to save the tires there, because how did he get so much momentum just through the course of 1 and 2 where you're really only blipping the gas?
Yeah, I don't really know where that speed came from, but he found it nonetheless, and that is going to bring him to the lead. It's going to be the first time all night that he's going to put in some laps led. A little bit further back, Johan Seminario trying to recoup from that incident early on. He's going to go to battle here, but here we go again. Man, the aggressive side drafts out of the 16 and the 29. I don't know what happened between these guys, but it really seems like they're racing each other aggressive, and they keep finding each other on track, so they just get more and more opportunities to do so and kind of continue that storyline. But through the trial wheel now, which is a lot more rounded on the overhead cam than I ever really noticed before. Just a side note, but Philip Henry 5/10 of a second lead, which is about, that's about as big of a lead as I've seen all night long. Seems like in that first stage, anybody who took the lead was cursed. They immediately lost it to somebody getting ahead of steam down the straightaway or into the corner, but Henry just flying at the moment. Ippolito taking second from Latham, so, oh boy, promo code Temptation coming close to being a crumpled raise can there, as he had to fit between two very aggressive cars. And look at this, the 29 and the 16, they have gained positions while battling, Corey. I mean, these two, they can't get away from each other.
It's almost like they may not like each other, at least in the sense of how they're racing each other. They don't seem to like each other at the moment, but they work well together in some kind of enemy type situation. It's almost like your NASCAR 2004, for some reason, you go faster at Talladega when you're racing your minus 80 rival. Because I don't quite know how else to describe that. But Johan, he dropped back. He gained spots. He dropped back. He was taking a lot of shallow entries, and I think it kind of burnt that right front. Maybe he had to cool it off. But I'll tell you, Hickson, running that inside for as long as he has, I'm shocked, because, again, putting that extra wheel in, running on the front in the lower lane, which has less banking, and he thought he was going to door tap Snyder again. I'm shocked how well he's persevering with that.
Yeah, he is, and he's actually, believe it or not, saving a little bit of tire running the bottom, so it may help him out in the long run. Johan Seminario right behind him. Great recovery. Again, before that damage was fixed, he couldn't even keep up with the pack. He was all the way back in 16th, 17th position, but now he's battling for, it looks like, if I can find him on the scoring, 6th. So he's actually...
And look at this!
Yeah, he's walking. I mean, he's just walking away. 1.2 seconds.
And remember, Philip Henry, he is not You know, he is not unknown to being in dominating positions. I want to say, was it IRP that he was super fast, and I think he kind of, you know, ruined his own race once or twice and nearly came back from it. Philip Henry, I don't think he's won. Of course, I probably am wrong, but I don't think he has won yet this season, but he has been one that should have, with the speed that that number 25 has had, and, you know, try to stink up the show for the championship race. But let me very quickly, as I think, I'm just going to, while you maybe say a couple things on it, I'm going to take a look at our second half championship and see how that's shaking out.
We're going to go 3 wide. Johan Seminario on the bottom. Oh, contact. Justin Levine to Heath Snyder. Heath got way down on the apron. We almost had a Jeff Gordon Nicorette car situation, but luckily he was able to avoid the wall and keep that thing in the right direction. But he's going to come back with a head of steam. He actually puts the bumper back to Levine. Maybe not happy with the way he was being raced, but look at the aggression out of that number 1, getting the 16 squirrely through the corner. This number 1 car, I don't know if he's driving angry or if he's just feeling the pressure to get back up front, but he is like a bull in a china shop trying to get a little bit further out front. Now to the bottom he goes. It may be another position picked up on that 16 if he can get a good line through the turn. But actually the 16 holding strong on the high line, got good momentum there. That's going to keep that position safe.
Oh, Zodiac!
Oh no, Kevin.
I was literally just going to say, we haven't talked about the 37 at all. I put the camera on him and look what happens.
I'm telling you, we can't even think about talking about him, or otherwise we give him the PTRTV curse.
So while you were kind of going over that 3 wide racing, as somebody kisses the fence, that is Devin Medeiros in the 20. And you know why? It's because that guy is not in our chat. And I cannot remember his name, but he was there all the time. But because Devin took a hiatus, Brandon's Lasers, that's who it is. He's not driving Brandon's Lasers anymore. We've lost our chat because he changed sponsors. How disappointing. But either way, I was looking at our second half points here. Now, Ed Shearer is dominating the points, but he has not been present. Well, he's not present here today. He is up by about 150 over Philip Henry for second. You have Gunningsman, RJ, and Kevin Zodiac in fifth. So if Ed Scherer's attendance continues in its current fashion, there could be a second half championship win for Philip Henry, and I do think there is some monetary incentivization to that. So he will definitely want to keep his car in solid positions just in case that does happen. But let's pull up the lap times here on our ticker, and you can see that he is no longer the fastest car on the track. So he shot out of a cannon, and I guess the cannonball is rolling back to the cannon. I don't really have a finish to that analogy there, but let's check it out this time by. Looks like about a 10th for Ty Ippolito. Fastest car on the track, Heath Snyder back in the 6th spot.
Yeah, so he's probably burned up his tires quite substantially. You see it's a 10th of a second difference last time by from Henry to Ippolito. That doesn't really surprise me. I mean, the speed that he had early on in that run was just astounding. But luckily for Mr. Henry, he doesn't really have to go much further. These guys pitted at about lap 50. So I'd say give it about 10 more laps, maybe even less than that. We're going to be coming down pit road, so Ty Ippolito is probably going to get to him. He may even pass him, but Philip Henry's not going to be coming into this green flag pit sequence in a bad situation as far as track position goes either way. So you mentioned it, Corey, that having the strict tire limit and having people come down pit road pretty early kind of saves you from having to worry about how long the stints can be. I mean, you go out there, you fire out like a cannon, and then you come down pit road. And once everybody gets that heat cycle through, it doesn't really matter how much you've saved. So 24 laps on the run for Henry, Ippolito, Latham, Justin Levine. He came down a lap later, remember, so 23. But yeah, just about 10 laps give them. They're going to be coming down pit road. So, maybe Henry choosing the aggressive strategy, but not a bad call.
Yeah, now that 1.5 second lead down to about half a second here. Let's just finish off our little endeavor with laps. So let's just say 10 more laps. That's 87, 86, plus another 35. Still can't do it. 85 plus 35. I still cannot do it. Is it 120 or 130? 85 plus 35, 120. So yeah, this is still a two-stop race from this exact juncture, no matter how you swing it. So it'll definitely still be 2 sets of tires. That second stop, I mean, maybe you take 2 if you're if it stays green, but nearly 4 abreast right here. We have Jake Hickson in the 16, still on the top. Kendall Leveron, he's trying to better his position here. He's going to be in the middle with Heath Snyder, who was the fastest for a few laps. Now he's going to actually get 2 for 1 there. So that 29 definitely out to play. I'm getting some notice that the 29 of, rather 26 of Robert Bissaud Jr., a few laps now, he has actually been the fastest car on track. He started the restart up front, dropped back to 8th, so now he's kind of mired in the traffic, but does have a fast car, but unfortunately doesn't have the position for it at the moment. But here we come. That lead has evaporated. The cannonball has rolled back to the cannon, and Ty Ippolito is going to get loose off of 2, but he's going to save it, and he's going to take a stab at it here. Let's see what line he chooses.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get around him on the high side here. It seems to be a pretty good place for some passing. We've seen it done numerous times tonight, but as we come to lap 80, it is still going to be the 25 clinging on by a thread. Ippolito's going to have slightly better feeling tires. He was lagging back a little bit, doing some conserving along with everybody else, but again, we're at a point where the difference in tire isn't going to be huge, just a slight advantage to the 19, and really with the way the dirty air works, if the 25 can kind of look into the crystal ball and predict what lanes that 19 is going to run and kind of take the air away from him, he could hold on to it until he comes down pit road, but looks like it's going to be too much of a run for the 19. He couldn't quite throw the block. Now they're going to go down into one side by side. We'll see if Ippolito can get the momentum up on that top steam. Yeah, it's going to be a drag race, and he's going to get it right here. He's got the advantage. Now, the bottom is pretty good in 3 and 4. The 25 may be able to strike back just a little bit, but I don't think he's getting back to the point. It's going to be all Ippolito. And look who else has joined the party here.
We brought some friends, we brought some friends. Justin Levine, who had that 1 minute and 21 second pit stop, so something was going on there that he had to take care of. So he took care of it, drove like a madman, and got his position back. So, in our stage winner, our current seeding leader in our championship endeavor, he's trying to make something happen here. But Ty Ippolito going for his first win of the season here as we come closer and closer to pit stops. I will validate here as I'm going to go through every single result here and see if Ty Ippolito has won, but I'm almost certain he has not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he has either, but
nope, he hasn't.
Yeah, okay. So Justin Levine now trying to get up to the 19. He's kind of followed Timothy Latham and then kind of just left him in the dust as he came down pit road. Latham, Snyder, Henry, Nieder, Zosiak, Gerlache, all coming down pit road. I believe Holloman, Campbell, and Fuge have all made their stops as well. They're a lap down. Do you see some jack stands going up right there?
There we go.
Couldn't tell who it was. Here comes the leaders down pit road. But yeah, I did see the jack stands go up. So somebody took tires. It may have been the 36 of Nieder. I know that he took 2 tires on that last. I believe he took 2 tires on that last lap, but we'll see.
Yep. So we still have a fair amount of drivers on track here, but we'll. You have Timothy Latham now exiting the pits along with Philip Henry. So the pit stops. We'll see how everybody does fizzle out and shake out here in relation to each other. Ty Ippolito just leaving his stall now, so he's leaving his stall. He is in turn number 1. Let's see where Latham is. I think we are going to have a leader in the form of Timothy Latham here very shortly. Actually, no, Heath Snyder got ahead of Latham there, but here they come past all those drivers. We'll see if they can blend out together.
There goes the 25 as well. But,
wow, yeah, they blended out way better than I thought. I thought the head of steam that Latham and Snyder had was going to be enough, but no. Great stop there by Ippolito, so that 1 lap did not work favorably. Let's pull up some details here that may explain some of it. Ty Ippolito, 39 seconds. That's going to be the number you're looking for. That's the amount of time he was in the pit. 39 seconds. 39 seconds. And let's go back to Snyder. Actually, 38 seconds. So you know what that is? That is getting to your stall and then absolutely hauling it on that access road, the apron, through 1 and 2. That must have been what led to that gap.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. I think he just had a really good exit. And that access road it's tough, but you can make up some time for sure. So the top 3 blending out within a second of one another. Andrew Nieder in the 36, back there in 5th, Philip Henry 4th. Timothy Latham not cycling out quite where he would have wanted to, led some laps earlier, but a little bit further back. As we approach lap 87, we're going to throw it to a side-by-side for just a quick break. We'll be back momentarily. Stay tuned.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we're back here on PTRTV after a brief little break here. Spartan SimRacing League race number 22 here in the championship trio, round number 1. We will head to Indianapolis next week and finish it out end of the month at the Homestead Miami Speedway. So we are crowning a champion, but we will have 3 races to decide it. You have a bunch of names in the ticker that are in yellow. That denotes who is going for that. However, Justin Levine does have the ideal position. He is seated with the championship lead by over 80 points, so everybody in front of him does have some work to do. But we have a battle for the lead shaping. Levine looked high, Levine looked low. He's back to looking high, and he's going to try to use that extra banking from the middle and look to the outside of Taya Polito. He'll do so successfully, nearly puts it in the fence, but evades it and has the Mo heading into 3.
So it took them a while to find each other. Again, they came out of pit road kind of separated, but once they did, it has been all-out war side by side. It's a drag race to the line. I can't even tell who's going to get the advantage here. I think it was the number 1 of Levine, just barely. We got some tandem drafting going on a little bit further back. The 25 and the 29 pretty much linked at the tow hitch, and that gave the 29 a great run through the turn. Now side by side for second. A little bit further back, Timothy Latham and Jake Hickson are doing a little bit of a tango themselves, maybe trying to catch up to our leaders. And, if I know that 16, he wants to catch up to that 29 machine in second place because, well, he's been racing with them all night long. But here's Dave Fuge, leader of a kind of third pack back here. He's running 7th place, and he's got a gaggle of guys behind him here, 28, 26, number 8, all battling for position. And here's a driver off in no man's land, 70.
Fairlash, that's the Ferris wheel payments machine. And then we have Nidart here in the 36. Zodiac, we've already cursed, and then Medeiros. And what happened to Holloman here? He was Captain Highline earlier, but has not sustained here in the later stages of the race. But now we have Heath Snyder, who has had, this is by far, start to, at least this juncture, the best run he has had since very early in the season. He very nearly won COTA back in, what was it, March. Really hasn't had any race-winning speed, but he did say that he had some confidence heading into this race, presuming that Ty Polito doesn't turn him there in the tri-oval here. But we got a 4-car quartet going for this race lead, closing it on the century mark here. It'll be 37 laps to go. Still one more pit stop here with our limited fuel load, but Ty Polito not playing dead, even though you get past, like you said, Hunter, you get past, but more often than not, you're not rolling over and playing dead. You always have a second surge, and Polito trying to work that bottom. Tight quarters racing between him and Snyder. He might go 2 for 1 and be able to get a stab at Levine at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, other than Henry, it really is. The leader's been cursed. Every time you get out front, somebody behind you seems to pick up 5 horsepower or something. But a little bit of a race recap. We're at 37 laps to go. We've had 3 cautions for 9 laps, 2 of which were for cause. One was the stage caution. We've had 7 leaders with 12 lead changes just at the line, but I guarantee you it's been more lead changes than that that were not at the line, because it has been a revolving door. Drivers getting runs, trying to make a surge towards the front, and then maybe parachute getting deployed. But it's been close racing for all 100 laps, and this has been one of the longest green flag sequences of the night. The race started out kind of chaotic. We had some early yellows and then the stage, but now, as we go on board with Ty Polito, we're kind of seeing the closing stint of the race. Like Corey said, one more stop to go, but a long green flag run for these guys. These guys have gotten into a bit of a rhythm, and it shows. And also, though, look at the top of the frame there, getting a little bit closer, inching further towards the front, Hickson and Latham.
Yeah, they are just pulling in there to the telemetry there. You do have what the gap is, just about a second, and once, well, they may actually already be in slipstream range to a degree there. Typically when you're at about 0.8 of a second, you are there. We'll pull up the stint tracker on the ticker there, and you can see that the freshest tires are actually behind the wheel of the 26 car of Robert Bissau, but he is 3 seconds back. Latham actually has the oldest set, along with Snyder and Henry, that 1 extra lap, but I don't think that 1 extra lap, on some tracks, that 1 extra lap is actually paramount. Here, not really seeming to play much of a factor. But again, once they pit, the fuel window is open now, 33, so the fuel window is open to finish, so technically the undercut strategy is applicable for anybody, but the risk to that is these guys only have 1 set of tires, so if you do an undercut, and then say a caution comes out a little bit later, you're up a creek, because now you have older tires and absolutely no alternative out of it.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It is a huge risk. And actually, we've seen that exact situation, Corey. We've seen drivers lose races because they came down pit road, got to take the undercut, and then caution came out. That's happened 2 or 3 times this year. So I would imagine these guys probably have that in the back of their mind, and they're probably thinking, I'm going to run this thing dry, or at least as dry as I can get it, and then I'm going to take tires. But it's going to be a last-second thing for most of these guys. For second place, the 25 now, trying to get a bit of a momentum built up, but it kind of faded out. He got a little bit squirrely and didn't just lose the 29 there, but the 19 also getting around him. And now, formally joining the party, player 5, Jake Hickson, is
I thought you were going to say player 5 was the 5 car. Misread that call.
Well, you know, close enough. Player 5 being 5th place, but promo code Temptation not far behind either. So all of these guys going to be probably cycling out really close when they do come down pit road. I cannot believe that these guys have been able to keep it off the wall as close as they have gotten out of turn 4.
This is the corner!
Oh my goodness. I mean, they're tandeming. I can't.
Through the corner at an intermediate track by Atlanta. here they come through 1 and 2, and Snyder is going to have that line. Henry is probably going to get tight here. Well, they all kept it off the safer barrier because they didn't run close to it because they knew I had that camera up. Ippolito was trying to sneak to the outside of Snyder there, but I don't really think the car width was there, but he was trying to make his presence known. He's going to have that outer lane, that extra 1 degree of banking in the middle, uses it to his advantage. I think Snyder has door tapped everybody he's been around on the straightaways, nearly did so there, and they're both going to fight for the middle lane entering 1 and 2. Ippolito's going to have it, though. Snyder's going to have to go through the bumps. I do think they'll clear. Ippolito will clear, and Henry's going to have some momentum. Is he going to try to go high? Is he going to go low? He's going to back off and reset.
Yeah, he's going to have to regroup there. Here comes Hickson trying to get up to
Ooh,
that
wiggle.
25. Oh, boy. Big lose for the 16, but he's able to not lose too much speed there. He didn't scrub the tires too much, but I bet he's going to cost him what could have been a potential lunge at the 25. These guys still staying out, and I think you're exactly right with that call, Corey. These guys are not going to be taking the undercut. They are going to be doing everything they can to coast it down pit road if they can. Yeah,
so with that third 24 laps, so I think 10 more is probably the maximum, so I would expect maybe 116 to 118 probably being the final stop. That would leave us about 16, 17 to go, and there's not going to be a strategy set for really anybody. I mean, there might be one person in this race that has a set of lefts on the wall, but I mean, I don't really know how much benefit that will have. Because I didn't have the safer barrier, came off at 2. They were all within absolute inches of it. We do have some lap traffic ahead of our leaders. That's going to be Chad Gunningsman in the 97. He is 1 lap down. And Devin Medeiros is last car on the lead lap now, praying for that caution flag. Now, Devin Medeiros did take 2 tires on the last stop with an 8.8 second stop. Either he took 2 or he took fuel only, so that is not working out. And hi, Wall. I'm Devin.
Hello, Wall. It's been a long time, but he's going to lose a lot of momentum there. The number 16 going to scoot on by, and all this happening right in front of our leaders, which is never ideal if you're the driver that's trying to get the checkered flag, but everybody kind of scrambling out of the way, giving these guys the room they need. Number 1 car having the easiest time getting around the lap traffic is 19 going to follow suit. Got the 29, Heath Snyder, and now side by side. And, ooh, Devin cutting it close to the wall, but able to keep it off. Lap 111, so these guys have gone quite a ways on this stint. Definitely, yeah, lap 27, 28, and they're waiting. And, you know, given the fact that we had that little moment with the lap cars.
Oh, smoke.
Why. Oh, no. The number 8.
Where is it? It's Gunningsman. He was the one that was just getting lapped.
Why.
And that will change everything. And nobody made the undercut, and they will be all very glad that they did because caution. Oh, this is big bad. This is big bad. That Henry was involved. And let's see what happened with Henry. Oh, is that poor pit communication there? I'll have to go on board with Henry and see who was the one that was slowing, but it seems like pit communication gone bad, which means Discord is going to be interesting after this one, but let's see. So was he pitting? Were they both pitting?
I think they were both pitting. But once the 25 started sliding, he could not woe it up in time.
Yeah, so maybe he was going to do a lot more aggressive of a pit entry. I'm just doing one more look at this. So 97 was clearly pitting, and he must have been, because otherwise he would have just moved up. But I think maybe he was going a lot harder into his pit entry there, because of course he was right with the leaders. And of course just wasn't able to woe it up there, that banking transition. I don't think there was much damage involved, but he was a 5th-ish place car. Now he's going to be back to 10th and technically 1 lap down, and we are under caution, right?
Yeah, I think it might have just been one of those situations where the pace car was...
Oh, okay, never mind.
We were not at live. Okay, so it's one of those situations where we're
the
not at live.
producer is Potato.
Close enough, but looks like the one gets into his stall. Okay, and this is going to be a pretty important stop for all these guys. Jack stands go up. Do not want to overshoot your stall. Do not want to make any mistakes, and certainly don't speed. There is nowhere near enough time to make up for a mistake like that. So here comes the number 1. Where will he cycle out?
It's Ippolito exiting, and Snyder.
Man, that one got out so far ahead of everybody else. It was a three-way battle for second with Ippolito, Snyder, and Hickson, but man, that one was gone. Here comes the 36. I don't know if he had an issue. I don't know why he was so late to the party there, but either way, you wanted to talk to Levine earlier. Is that still on your cards there? Yeah, let's pull him up. Mr. Levine, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, Justin, you're doing me proud. I said at the top of the broadcast that you've been one of the most consistent drivers all year long, and definitely one of the fastest. And then immediately you went from 14th to 1st within a matter of about 20 laps. And having got the stage 1 win and coming out of pit road first in line, things are looking pretty good. How's it feel behind the wheel, that number 1?
Oh, it feels great. This car is basically on rails. As long as you take care of it, it takes care of you, and I'm showing that right now.
Absolutely. And what's the tire situation like? I know it looks like from all the scuffles with the wall that we've seen from other drivers, it seems like the cars are kind of fighting a tight condition right now. Is that how the car's kind of wearing?
Yes, for sure. When everyone is pack racing and it feels like mini Daytona, you're plowing going into the corner, especially side by side. When somebody's on your right side, the car just plows no matter what you're doing. So you have to pick and choose your battles if you're going to sit there and really fight for the position, or if you're going to let the tires break in, then pick them off one at a time.
All right. And you know, these late race restarts, sometimes they can go sideways really quick. You think we're going to make it to the end on green?
Probably not.
All right. Well, we'll see if your prediction is correct. We wish you the best of the luck, Justin, and hopefully we're talking again.
You.
All right. So he says probably not, Corey.
Well, and that's what I was going to say before that caution came out, is you kind of have to read the race, and usually it's kind of easy to do that when it comes to making that pit call. Do I want to pit early? Do I want to pit late? You read the race and you kind of figure out, do we have that green flag flare? And while we were modestly spread out, and we have guys that are very highly skilled, when you are pack racing, you can never be certain that there's not going to be mistakes. So no matter how spread out it is, but you have 4 or 5 cars battling together, a caution is on the cards, and you know, it just makes it very hard to make that pit decision. And luckily, I guess, if you want to say it that way, the decision was made with the faux pas by the 97 and 25. And actually, this may have Johan Seminario, by the way, if memory may have screwed me up, Andre, but he's been out of this race for 40 laps. Do you remember what happened?
I don't think we caught what happened, because last we saw he was racing for position. He was up in the top 10, and then maybe something happened that we just happened to miss, and we got a lot of things to keep our eyes on, and there's only 4 eyes up in the booth. So, oh, okay, well, we found it, and we didn't. How did we miss that?
Because I don't know, but luckily it looks like he may have clipped the apron there, and Jeff Gordon 2007.
Get that man some ice. That was a terrible hit.
Thank you, my software.
That's one of those hits that, you know, if your force feedback was turned up high enough, you could legitimately injure yourself in sim racing.
If you have a direct drive wheel, probably anything over like 8 Newton meters, yeah, that literally could cause injury. You could think, you know, the Danica strategy of let your hands off the wheel is actually turned to be quite common in the racing world because of that. But let's see what happens. 20 to go, sponsored by We Don't Have a Sponsor. Green flag going to be flying here at Vegas, SSRL. Will we make it to the end? Let's find out together.
And it looks like it's going to be out to a solo lead for Justin Levine. And for second place, he's Snyder and a swerving Ty Ippolito. I don't know what was going on there. Up the track, down the track, and he's got the 26, Robert Basaw Jr. right behind, and squeezing Jay Kickson in that 16. That was a tight fit, but they made it work. Looking back from the onboard at 26, now looking forward side by side for second place. And if these guys can continue to battle it out, that is exactly what Justin Levine wants. He wants these guys to battle, slow themselves down. But I don't think that leader curse is going away anytime soon. I think these guys are going to get a run regardless Here's the 36 and the 26. A little bit of a door check coming out of the corner, fighting tight.
Latham may have hit the wall there off of 2. He may have kissed that safer barrier taper we've been talking about. But here comes Ty Ippolito. 18 to go. Short run car at this rate, Andre. If we're talking about a short run, I'm taking that 19. He has been out, lights out, but also, I guess, short run. I'm taking the 29. Can I take 2 cars? I guess that's the cop-out, but it's hard to tell. You know, a 20-lap run, you don't have to worry about tire wear. You don't really have to worry. You can just, quote-unquote, send it, and just, these guys are using every inch of that turn 2 wall.
Yeah, they are just trying to get right into that concave of the wall and skim without actually getting into it. That's going to be the fast way around the track, especially as the car gets tighter and tighter. And speaking of the leader curse, well, looks like Levine was not able to drive away at all as the 29 pulls up to the bumper. Hickson is, what a surprise! Hickson and the 29 side by side once again. This time for second place with only 16 to go, and we are throwing blocks. We are Brad Keselowski today, boys. Up the track, down the track. Justin Levine doing everything he can to keep that top step.
Here comes Jake Hickson, has the run off of 4. Where do you go? Where do you go? I mean, yeah. Oh, Ty Ippolito in the fence. Through the tri-oval there, put himself maybe into a safer barrier taper there. I don't want to cut from a replay because we got too much going on, but there goes one of my picks. I'll have to go back to my backup pick, but that will put Justin Levine in second because Jake Hickson did take the lead.
Yeah, that's going to put the 16 to the point. I can't say I predicted that. Didn't have that on the bingo card. We'll take a look at the PTRTV instant replay. He just scooted on by. I mean, that was on pace. And
Levine didn't really fight it there. But let's see. Ippolito's already out of the picture at that point, so we can't. We won't wait for that. But back to live footage, unlike what I did earlier. You can see Ippolito all the way back to 12th. That right front probably toast, so I think that may be the end of it. Philip Henry, remember after that little pit road faux pas with the 97, I don't think he is out of it because the contacts seem rather minimal. He's right there in the 5th, 6th spot, somewhere in that ballpark here. He's splitting feathers between Baysaw and Kendall Levron there on the front straightaway, but now Hickson has that lead. And Andrew Neidhart, we don't know him because he's new to the series, and we also don't really know what he's made of here today, but here he is in the 3rd spot here at crunch time.
Yeah. He's definitely going to have a tight situation there. And like you said, new face to the league. We don't really know what his specialties are. Is he good at mile and a half? Is he good at road courses? Well, we're going to find out. It seems he's got some pace here at Las Vegas. That's for certain. He's holding up that 29 machine, keeping him at bay. And really, he's been pretty solid all night. Maybe not on the podium very much, but definitely inside the top 5 and had some interesting strategy calls. Meanwhile, promo code Temptation. I almost thought he was going to slide up into the 19 as Ippolito got loose.
Almost up to 11.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe he needs some more raised energy, but not a good situation with only 12 to go. He's been so fast all day, but things just kind of falling apart late in the event. And look at this, nearly 3 wide. We got Dave Fuge Jr. trying to make some moves. He's got a windshield full of the 25 and the 26. He's led 12 laps today. That's got to be... I think the most in the last couple rounds for Dave. He's done really good today. He's been a contender for sure. Now he's running 8th, trying to pick up a few more prior to the end, but we're going to come to the line, and it will be, I believe, 10 to go. If it rolls over, yes, it does. 10 to go. Not much racing left. Hickson still holding off a hard-charging Justin Levine. This could be a complete shocker of a win if a non-playoff driver takes the trophy.
And this is the point in the race where, this is kind of akin to yesterday in the real world. Kyle Larson pulled out to the lead on the short run. Christopher Bell, I couldn't say that. He closed in and had to make some very, very tough decisions with very few laps to spare. And it ultimately boils down to, where does Hickson run? Does he run defensively, which I think he should, or does he run where he thinks he wants to run and hope that Levine just can't get by? I think he's going to have to protect that top of the racetrack with his life, because as Levine said himself, you run that inside lane, you are just frying that right front tire like KFC fried chicken, and I don't think that is what they want at this juncture in the race, although chicken does sound good.
Yeah, I haven't eaten since like 10 a.m., so now you're just kind of making me hungry. But 16, trying to throw a little bit of a block there. Again, he might want to run higher up just for the sake of the tires, but sometimes you just have to run whatever line the guy behind you is to put him in that dirty air, keep him at bay. And he's got to do it for another 7 laps when they reach the line. Got a good 3 and 4. Gave himself a bit of a gap to Levine. Seems like 1 and 2 is where Justin's just a little bit quicker. He's kind of trading off each end of the track. One driver's a little bit quicker here and there. Heath Snyder finally catching it back up as well. He was a little bit further back.
Here we go. Line change there in 1 and 2. He ran the middle, gave the door on the bottom for Levine, which I guess you could say is okay if you're confident on that outside lane. But, I mean, either way, leaving the door open is always risky, even if you think you're in the better lane.
Now, Hickson could have defended really well right there, but he got a little bit squirrely, which is leaving Justin Levine to his inside. He's got a healthy push, though, from that 36 machine, Andrew Nieder. He is able to at least maintain the lead for the time being. A little bit squirrely out of the corner. That's going to scrub away some speed, but still.
I couldn't cut to the camera in time just because it was getting juicier, but through 3 and 4, traditionally the bottom works better through 3 and 4. And Levine proving that justice here, coming in, taking the stripe this time by. If it was a photo finish, the 1 gets the win here, but now those bumps on the bottom make the outside more favorable here on this side of the track. Heath Snyder trying to put the meat in the sandwich here. He's trying to get to the inside. Levine does take the lead through 1 and 2 on the bottom. Very impressive move here. Heath Snyder, he's to the inside. We know he has some speed, but he doesn't want to play around with that 16 for too long.
That number 1 right back to throwing those blocks. He was up the track, he was down the track, and that was able to keep him up on the top step. Now we're going to be almost 3 wide for second place. The 25 thought about shoving it in there, but was not quite able to find the room. And even now, 4 laps to go, the 16 and the 29 side by side. I think these guys have been in proximity to each other for 90% of the race or better, but now 1.5 seconds, and look at the run through the corner. The 16 driving it in deep.
Yeah, 16 drove it in, and we've seen it multiple times here today, but once you get past, it's not necessarily over. Look at them running each other up the track, blocking through the tri-oval. 25 recovery after the damage here. 29 and 16 bump drafting each other into 1. All the while, you're not seeing Levine really pull away. He's only getting a quarter of a second. Oh, no!
Jake Hickson had contact with the 25. They're going to go 4 wide for a moment. Everybody keeps going. No wreck, no yellow, but that is costing a huge amount of time for Snyder and everybody else. Now, Justin Levine has a half a second lead with just 2 to go. They can make 1 more clean lap. They'll get to the white flag, and the race will be official. They won't have to worry about any potential green-white checkers, but they still got to get around another time. Can Heath Snyder close that gap in such a short amount of time? Brings it from half a second down to 4/10, so definitely closing slowly, but time not on his side. There's Hickson with Ty Ippolito and the number 26, Robert Basaw Jr. These guys still fighting for every point they can get. Now to the white flag, the final lap of the race. We're going to finish things out here at Las Vegas, one way or another. No more green-white checkers, caution or green. It's going to end organically. Justin Levine stretches it out 5.55 seconds. And I don't think with just 1 corner left, barring a mistake, Heath Snyder can get to him. So it's going to be Justin Levine one more time through 3 and 4. He started 14th. He passed everybody in front of him, won this stage, and he will sweep the race to open out the final round here at the SSRL.
Yep, our championship leader will basically get a perfect race. I mean, he got the stage win, and now he's going to get the race win. So just further cementing that championship endeavor here, and his championship compadres there that he's battling with didn't have the best of runs, and he is going to try to do a full speed drift here in celebratory manner here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway here. He's going to do the old Kenseth here through the front straightaway and try not to bin it, because that car you probably want to take it to Vegas here, rather to Homestead in a few weeks' time. But congratulations definitely go to that one car. And you could just tell by the celebration. Sometimes they do little sissy celebrations, and sometimes, you know, they do it with some flair. So clearly he is excited about this one.
Oh yeah, I mean, this extends his lead for the championship big time. Timothy Latham was the closest at 29 points behind going into this race. but Timothy Latham kind of fell apart in the latter half of this event and definitely sacrificed some points. So things are looking good. At this point, Justin Levine can afford to have, let's say, mediocre performances in the coming races and potentially still walk away with the championship. But the unofficial race results, we're going to call them official. Justin Levine takes the win. Heath Snyder, second place. Andrew Nieder, newcomer to the league, he's going to finish on the podium. Ty Ippolito had a strong night all night long and gets a top 5 as a result. Jake Hickson, man, that man was moving. Looked like he might have the car to win for a little bit there, but a solid performance out of the 16. Robert Basaw Jr., another new name to the league, going to finish P6. Philip Henry got a little bit sideways at the end, and after leading a few laps early on, he's going to finish 7th. Kevin Zosiak inside the top 10. Kendall Leveron in the 28 brings it home 9th, and rounding out the top 10, it's going to be Josh Campbell.
Timothy Latham had a very up and down day from the pole, but had to fall back and settle for an 11th place. Dave Hughes led some laps, also 12th. Devin Medeiros never really had the ride here today in 13th. Kyle Gerlach led some laps via strategy in 14th. Blair Holloman, he was rocking the high side like a beast in the first half, but fell off in the later end. Chad Gunningsman had some issues. Johan had that absolutely chronic accident. We may need to call the emergency room to ensure his well-being after that. For 17th, Saucier, Jorgensen, and Harville. And Jordan Sailors, I don't think actually turned any laps here today, but he gets himself on the results page just because why not? So let's head down to Victory Lane with Justin Levine in the one car. We've already talked to him a little bit ago, and he was obviously excited about what he had, and he'll be even more excited now. All right, Justin, we talked to you about, 20 minutes ago, and you had some confidence in that car, and they didn't make it easy on you. That was a thrilling battle. Hickson was playing some good defense, but you really found that speed to get by, and that little shenanigan on the last few laps gave you that gap, and it's going to look pretty good for your championship picture now.
Oh man, I'm so excited to start the round this way. But that was a hell of a race with Jake. If it was a 10-lap shootout, 15-lap shootout, I had nothing for Jake. I knew how fast he was in the short run, and I knew how to save the right front, so I was just using the draft to stay within a few tenths there. And once he started plowing, I made my move.
Yeah, you did that, and I was kind of relating it to yesterday's Cup race where Larson had the short run car, Bell had the long run car, and it was kind of a line game there. And I thought that once Hickson started kind of running defensively in the middle there, that he was going to stall you out on the bottom and burn up your tires, but you must have saved enough to still be able to clear. Did you kind of have some worry about making a pass there on the bottom after about 10-15 laps?
No, once you let about like 10-15 laps into the tires, like warm up, you're able to put it wherever you need it to go. You just have to be consistent, and that's exactly what happened. I heard him bottom out through 3 and 4 there, and if you don't hit the line right going through 3 and 4, it plows to the wall, and you have no choice but either get out of it or risk it.
Of course, that's not what you want, but next week we head to a little bit of an anomaly at Indy, but I have to imagine with the final race being at Homestead, a track that you can kind of probably take some similarities from here at Vegas, that you're probably going to be pretty confident given this Vegas piece, and then riding it all the way to Miami.
Indy should be a lot of fun. Definitely got to do some laps. I've never ran the NextGen there. I'm very excited, especially that all of us will have a chance to kiss the bricks there. But Homestead is one of my favorite tracks. I always have that track circled whenever it's on the schedule. So hoping that tonight gave me enough buffer that, God forbid, it goes south at Indy, I can put it on myself to go out there and win Homestead.
Yeah, Latham didn't have the best of the day, and Johan absolutely, you may want to talk to him in the infield care center because he took a hard lick, but it'll help you out, man. Congrats, and we'll see what you can do next week at the Brickyard.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Do it, man. And now Andre has caught up with probably the best run of the season, I'd say. Heath Snyder finished second.
Mr. Snyder, you had one heck of a night. Looked like you might have had a car that could win it, but at the end of the day, a lot of chaotic pack racing here at Las Vegas, and it was all about the momentum, and things got a little crazy at the end, but nonetheless, great points day for that 29 machine.
Yeah, I'll definitely take the points. I don't think I had the car long run because I burned the right front a little bit too much, but good points day starting the championship round, so I'll take it.
Absolutely. Now, one thing I want to ask you about, we kept talking about it on the broadcast. It seemed like every time we cut to your car, you were battling with Jake Hickson. You two had to be side by side for 75% of the race. What was that battle like? And, just tell me a little bit about it from your perspective.
Jake's a hard racer. He doesn't give in. He's kind of like iRacing's version of Ryan Newman, is one way to put it. He's not going to lift. So once you get beside him, you better hope you have the run.
Yeah, and beside him you were, like I said, it seemed like those cars, I thought maybe you just had like a bungee cord tying them together or something, because you were just all night long going at it. But it looked fun nonetheless. I know sometimes these mile and a half, so you wind up in no man's land by yourself, and you're kind of wishing you had somebody to race with, and you weren't left wanting, that's for sure. But going into the next coming rounds here, how do you feel about the momentum?
Definitely looking forward to it. Indy is going to be interesting, to say the least, but we're working on a set, so hopefully we can bring some speed to that. And I'm always a fan of Homestead. It's not necessarily my best track, but I've had some decent runs there over the recent seasons, so I think I might be able to bring home a good finish there.
All right. Well, again, congratulations on the podium. We wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
All right. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Second place out of the booth, and now I believe Corey has caught up with the third place driver.
Asterisk to that, because he is not here. I do see him signed in to the Discord channel, so I know he does have access, but I have scrolled through multiple times and I have yet to see him, so we will likely stall our way on out of this one. So want to thank everyone for staying tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe if you have not done so. We are closing in on our 1,000 subscribers. We have now 2 new leagues to the channel in the form of another Cup League on Sunday nights, and now we'll have some late model short track action coming up on Thursday that Andre and I will be sharing with you, and then a championship battle in the Red Sox Racing League as well on Thursday night. So busy times here on PTRTV, and definitely excited for that. But that is, I'm just going to double check one more time. Yep, he ain't here. So that's Corey and Andre signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.